All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen here. So Doug, just shout at me if you don't see that.
Sure.
There we go. So my name's April Favara. I've been with iLearnERP for about 7 years now, and I want to talk with you today about UPK and what you can replace it with. I have been on many UPK projects actually since I started at iLearn, both developing new content and uplifting content that was already in UPK, say like for an upgrade. And then I've also worked with numerous UPK-like tools. So I'm excited to talk to you today about some of the things we've encountered with our customers. So you may or may not be aware, but UPK support ends in December 2022. So what does that mean? What does that mean? When you come in, you're going to be unmuted too. So just so you know, if you may need to mute when you come in. Thanks so much. But do feel free to come off mute if you have a question. So UPK support ends in December 2022. That means no more releases, no more patches. Kind of how it is now is how it will be. So the latest patch was ESP5. So that's something to be aware of if you haven't upgraded to that one yet. Some of the common questions we get from our customers and folks as they learn this news is, how do I decide if I should move off UPK, and then what are other customers doing? That's something that we can help with, that first piece there. So if you want to stay or just evaluate where you are, we can partner with you to complete a discovery assessment. So looking at the current state of things, are you up on the latest version? How much other of the bells and whistles of UPK do you use? So do you use the Knowledge Center? Do you have their UPKs housed in your own LMS, for instance, or something like that? So we can partner with you for a health check there. We can also look at the content you currently have, how you're using that content, and kind of tracking with the overall usage of the UPK content you already have. And then we'll partner with you as we look at those results. So whether it's us, bringing in some of our technical team to help you get on the latest release, or looking at strategies to develop new content if you decide you want to stay on UPK, things like that. So we can go through that whole assessment there. We also get a lot of curiosity from folks about perhaps moving from UPK since support is ending. So questions like, what is the cost of leaving UPK and what options do I have to move from UPK are pretty common. And we can help you through the process of evaluating those options as well. So looking at things like how you currently use the tool. For instance, what kinds of things do you want in a UPK-like tool? So if you use that try it mode and you want folks to have some kind of training that has them do the actual click-throughs, or maybe you just export and use the job aids, you don't really use the video functionality of UPK, those are things to really look at and assess as you look at those other tools to say, hey, what kind of features do we want? Something else that comes up frequently for us too is more and more we're finding our customers have other apps aside from JD Edwards. So one of the great things about UPK-like tools nowadays is they generally will overlay over any URL. So you could record something and say like Salesforce or Workday, and then you'd also have your recordings in JD Edwards all with the same tool. So that can be really slick, and then that can also help you either house all of that training content in one kind of learning hub for your organization, which can be really effective, or you can publish that out to, say, a learning management system, or just keep that in the tool itself. We can also help set you up with some demos if you want to see different kinds of tools and explore features. We have kind of amassed a large spreadsheet that can be really helpful for folks too. So things like questions that you would ask of a tool if you're looking for it. So, what is the most important to you? Do you want this feature or do you not care? For instance, do you want it in the cloud, or does it also have to be on-prem? Those are things that we can kind of help you check those boxes to and evaluate what your current needs are so that you can kind of streamline that tool selection process. And then of course we can help with the buy decision and price negotiations, and also just kind of give you some kind of awareness of what to expect in terms of that from our experience of talking with other vendors. Some of the UPK replacement tools that are out there, I don't have all of them up here. There are quite a few, but there are, most of them are in the cloud. Some of them offer cloud and on-premise solutions. TTS is one that we've worked with. WalkMe is a really popular tool. Eplog Systems we've also worked with. We've looked a lot at Ensily, but there's, like I said, they're not all up here. There's also tools like kind of more strictly learning and development tools that are out there that are a little bit similar to UPK or can kind of do similar things, like Captivate is one that we have used as well. You still get those step-by-step instructions. They're not always as slick in terms of the outputs that you get with the UPK-like tools. If you want like that video and that training guide all exported from the same recording of the topic, sometimes the Captivates don't quite do that. Here's an example of one that we have worked with. So TTS offers in-application training, and it's immediately accessed through Topic Publish. And I'll show how that works. It's a little bit different than UPK. It offers click-through tutorials and job aids similar to UPK, and then works over any application, not just Oracle JD Edwards. So again, these can be nice solutions if you have a lot of other apps that you use at your organization, so you just have that one tool. Folks know what to expect and what to look for, and it kind of creates more of a cohesion in your training materials. This one also supports conversion of previously created UPK content. We find that's pretty important to our customers, that they've already invested a lot in the UPK content they have. They're kind of bummed that UPK is kind of being sunset. So what do they do with all of that investment in this tool? And there's some other tools that have this UPK conversion, which can really be helpful, so you don't lose that investment. And I've worked with it, and it really does look slick, and then it looks a little bit more updated too, which is kind of nice. And then it's easy to access and record without having to download separate software, which also can be great if you have, say, subject matter experts that are going in and recording processes. Here's a little bit of what it looks like. It's hard to see in this screenshot, but there's a little orange. So once folks download quick access, in order to access the training content from the user end, they would click that orange, and then it would pull up the quick access, and they can do this in JD Edwards or in other applications too. So it would just be a download into probably like Chrome. A lot of organizations use Chrome. So they click that quick access, and once they click it, this little window would pop up where they would see related content. So I was in a journal entries form when I pulled this up, and I was curious to see what would come up, and it looks like there was some step-by-step instructions, so I could watch a video and do the actual click-throughs. There's a detailed information guide for me to download, and it all just comes up right in application, which is really nice, because we find that if learners don't have to go outside of the application to look something up, or it's just really available kind of at their fingertips with a click or two, they're more likely to use it. And then they can also open the guide in the same window, or maybe they have a split screen, slide over that guide, look at it as they're going through the process in JD Edwards or any other application that they're in, and be right in the moment there. Again, instead of having to go somewhere else, try to find the right video on their own without that handy search, and then come back later to their application, right? So it's kind of all there, which is really great for the user. And this is an example of what the training guide and the job aid or the quick reference card kind of outputs look like. So you've got more of a training guide on the left with the numbers actually on the screen of where the clicks are. A lot of that comes automatically, so that's really great. In terms of adding notes and text, that was something that we inserted later, that longer note there, but you can see that it's kind of nice because it tells you right where they click on the screen. If you just want a shorter version, that's on the right side there. And just has the little window picture of the actual clicks, not the really detailed information text there if you do add that. So just a little bit of a quicker guide. And then it's hard to show the video format on here, but this shows the different modes. So they could watch the, a lot like see it in UPK, they could watch the training, or they could actually interact with it and do their own click through at their own pace to really get a sense of what the process is. So that's just a little sneak peek. Again, these demos are pretty short, but I wanted to give some highlights and then also tell you if you do want to stick with UPK, we are ready to help with that too, whether it's you need more content, you're going through an upgrade, we can develop that content, or maybe you have content that you developed back when you were on something else, a different version, and you need to update that. We do uplifts as well, so we can re-record the content that you have and maybe record new content for any new processes you got when you upgraded. And then we also have UPK training in our E1 Academy. So if you want to become a UPK expert and develop your own training at your organization, that's something we can help with as well, in addition to things like project management. And this also goes to this development that we do also goes to if you decide to use a different tool. Like I said, we've got a lot of experience with other employee performance support products in addition to UPK. So we can also partner with you to develop that content should you decide to move off UPK. So I'm going to stop my sharing for a little bit and say hi and ask Doug for any help in both any questions. It looks like there's no questions in the Zoom chat at the moment. I also did a poll. I'm going to see if anybody was able to answer the poll, or if you all saw the poll.
I did not see the poll, so I did not answer. Per se.
I didn't see it. I don't know where it goes because I made a poll in the platform and then I didn't check from the other side. I'm like a manager, so I wonder if I didn't do it right. So I apologize. Maybe we can just do it now if nobody has any questions. All I asked was if you were already on UPK and whether or not you were thinking of moving off UPK. So if you want to come off mute even and talk about it or have any questions or concerns, we are almost at time for the actual demo, but this won't kick us out for another 10 minutes. If you have a little time and you want to chat or ask us any questions, please feel free to do so. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close us out. Thanks again for coming, everybody.